baby voice of God. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the mayor of Myrtle Beach, Brenda Bethune.
Wow. Is this on? You hear me? Are you ready? What a great turnout. I was told there are over 1,000 people here. Myrtle Beach clearly knows how to show up. Thank you. Thank you. Are you ready for a new generation of leadership in Washington? Well, I'm ready too, and we sure need it. We need a leader who is bold, strong, decisive, and compassionate, and we're going to make that happen. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor, and I hope you will join me in showing a very warm Myrtle Beach welcome to our future President of the United States. Please welcome Nikki Haley. Do you like my playlist? Because it's a great day in South Carolina. Boy, you know how to make a girl feel good. It's great to be back in South Carolina. I have been in snowy Iowa. And so it's always nice to come back to the warm weather. And you know, and it's always nice to see people that I love so much. I mean, I really do. We've been through a lot together. I love you too. I love you too. We've been through a lot together. You know, it goes back to when I first ran for the State House. Some of you may know this, some of you may not. I was telling my mom about how hard it was to make $1 and how easy it was for government to take it. And she said, quit complaining about it, do something about it. I did not know you weren't supposed to run against the longest serving legislator in a primary in South Carolina. Ignorance is bliss, and what I told the district in Lexington County was, I said, you know what? I think we got way too many lawyers at the State House, and they need a really good accountant. And the district took a chance, and I got to work. And as I got to work, the first fight that we took on together started to happen. I noticed that in South Carolina, everything that was debated on the floor of the House or the Senate, Mostly was voted on by a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Remember that?
Yes.
And one day, they decided to vote, the legislature voted themselves a pay raise. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, silence. The ayes have it. Yet to this day, you can't find anyone that says they voted themselves a pay raise. And I got so mad, I went to the Speaker of the House and I said, this is why the people don't trust us. And I filed a bill that said anything important enough to be debated on the floor of the House or the Senate was important enough for the people of South Carolina to know how their legislator voted.
Absolutely.
And the Speaker said, put the bill away. We don't need to have it. We will decide what the public needs to see and what they don't. And I remember going to my husband that night saying, if I can't even get legislative votes on the record, what am I doing here? And he said, then fight. So I went around the state of South Carolina, including Horry County, and said, did you know of all the bills passed in the House, only 8% were on the record? Did you know of all the bills passed in the Senate, only 1% was on the record? So if you didn't know how your House member voted 92% of the time, if you didn't know how your senator voted 99% of the time, then how did you know who to vote for when you got to the polls?
Right.
And the people of South Carolina were shocked. Now, to put this into perspective, my first year in office, I was chairman of the freshman class. My second year, I was majority whip. My third year, I was put on a powerful business committee. My fourth year, I was subcommittee chair of banking.
Yes.
Well, you would think, right? But the year that I wouldn't put that bill away, they stripped me of everything. I could take the well, no one would hear me speak. I could sponsor a bill, no one would co-sponsor. So I ran for governor. We did that together. And I was proud to say that one of the first bills I signed into law is now in South Carolina. Anything debated on the floor of the House or the Senate requires a legislative vote on the record, and we took it a step further. We did it on every section of the budget as well. And when I signed that bill, because I love music, I signed the bill in the State House, and I blared Pat Benatar's "Hit Me With Your Best Shot." We did such great things in South Carolina. This is another fight we did together. In 2011, I proposed voter ID and was vilified for it. Do you remember? I was totally vilified for it. They said that I was disenfranchising voters. And my comment was to the media, if you have to show picture ID to buy Sudafed, if you've got to show picture ID to get on a plane, why would you not show picture ID to protect the integrity of the election process? But I didn't want to disenfranchise anybody, so I said, I hear you. So if there's anybody that can't get to the DMV, we will go pick them up. We will take them to the DMV, we will give them a free ID, and we will return them home safely. Now, out of 5 million people in South Carolina, do you know how many people asked for a ride? 25. 25. We passed voter ID in South Carolina. Obama sued us, but we got it done anyway, and that was thanks to all of you. When I was governor, I came into South Carolina when she had a double-digit unemployment rate. We were down on ourselves. We got to work, and by the time we left, South Carolina was an economic powerhouse. We now build planes with Boeing. We build more BMWs than any place in the world. We brought in Mercedes-Benz. We brought in Volvo. We've got 5 international tire companies, and yes, what did they call us? The Beast of the Southeast, which I still love. And then they asked me to go to the United Nations.
Yes.
And my response was, I don't even know what the United Nations does. I just know everybody hates it. But there is nothing better than serving the country I love so much. So I went to the UN, And we made sure that we told countries what America was for and what America was against. I didn't care if they didn't like me, but I wanted them to respect America. We got ourselves out of the Iran deal, a terrorist group that says death to America every day. We made sure we passed the largest sanctions against a country in a generation with North Korea. And yes, we moved the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and acknowledged the truth. And it was at that moment that I saw something else that I wanted to change. After that move from the embassy, the entire world condemned the United States. And I was so mad because we have the right to put our embassy anywhere we want. We choose to put our embassy in the capital of every country. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and they had no right to tell us we couldn't do it.
That's right.
So after that vote, when they condemned us, I went back to my office and I said, I want you to do a book. And I want the book to list all 193 countries. I want the second column to be the percentage of times they voted with the U.S. and against the U.S.
All right.
And I want the last column to be how much foreign aid we give them. I took that book to President Trump and he lost his mind. He was flipping pages, yelling out countries. And I said, look, this isn't saying that we should give foreign aid based on a percentage vote at the UN. But it should be one of the things we look at. Stop giving money to countries that hate America. We were giving $2 billion in military aid to Pakistan. They were harboring terrorists trying to kill our soldiers. We stopped paying that $2 billion to Pakistan, but it was a lesson that everybody in America needs to remember because there's something that we're going to do about it. Do you know last year we gave $46 billion in foreign aid? Do you want to know who we gave it to? We're giving it to Pakistan again. We're giving money to Iraq that's holding hands with Iran that says death to America. We're giving money to Belarus that's holding hands with Russia. We're giving money to communist Cuba, which we said was a state sponsor of terrorism, yet we think we should give them money. And yes, we are giving money to China. There is no amount of money that you can use to buy friends. You can't pay off enemies. We have got to be smart in America. There is no more time that we need to be sending money to any enemies. It's weakness. It shows the United States to be oblivious, and we've got to make sure that we take care of the backs of our allies, but we never give money to enemies. So we've got to put an end to that. So now it leads me to why I'm running for president. You can look at the news. I don't need to tell you. It's bad. It's bad. We all feel it. You look at the fact that we're $31 trillion in debt. We are borrowing money to make our interest payments. But I always, as your governor, told you the truth. And I'm going to tell you the truth now, too. That's not just Biden's fault. Republicans did that to us, too. It was the Republicans that passed the $2.2 trillion COVID stimulus that started all of this. It was Republicans that allowed it to pass the House 419-6. It was the Senate that allowed it to pass 96-0. And as they went and started giving money to pay people to sit on the couch, what else did they do? They expanded welfare. Do you know 90 million Americans are now on Medicaid? 42 million Americans are now on food stamps? And so what's the Republican response to it? You're not going to believe it. After 10 years, they opened back up earmarks again. They started using our taxpayer dollars for port projects. $7.5 million for racing in Arizona, $12 million for a baseball stadium in New York, $15 million for New Jersey to get the World Cup, $6.5 million for golf courses in Colorado, $20 billion with a B on welfare payments for illegal immigrants. That's where your money is going. So you look at all of that spending, and you see how we got into this situation. That's where the inflation came from. That's where we had the supply issues come from. And now they want to bail out a bank?
No.
If one of our small businesses got bailed out or went into bankruptcy, do you think they'd bail us out? They wouldn't. There's no value for a dollar. We've got to bring that value back. Then you look at education. Everybody wants to blame COVID. We had a problem in education before COVID.
That's right. That's good.
Do you know pre-COVID, 70% of 8th graders in our country were not proficient in reading? Think about that. 66% of 8th graders were not proficient in math. Now you go and you add years of lockdowns. I don't know how we catch our kids back up. But that's not okay. And instead, 90% of America's kids are dealing with critical race theory, where if a little girl goes into kindergarten, if she's white, you're telling her she's bad, and if she's brown or black, you're telling her she's never going to be good enough and she's always going to be a victim. That's abusive. And then everybody was up in arms about the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, which basically said you can't talk to kids under 3rd grade about gender. I'm sorry, I don't think that went far enough. When I was in school, you didn't have sex ed until 7th grade. And even then, your parent had to sign a permission slip, and my dad wouldn't sign it, so I was the uncool kid in the classroom next door.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
It is not the place of schools to talk to our kids about gender or any of that. Schools don't get to parent. They don't get to parent. That's our job. We've got one job, and it's to get it right for our kids. And we are not going to give that up to any school bureaucrats or any federal program that thinks that they know better than we do.
That's right.
Then you go and you look at crime on the streets of America. It's bad, but you know what? That's what happens when you don't have the backs of law enforcement.
That's right.
That's what happens when you have district attorneys that refuse to prosecute anyone that does something illegal. That's what happens when you let lawlessness roam. Look at the border. Look at the lawlessness on the border. We are a country of laws. The second you stop being a country of laws, you give up everything this country was founded on. My parents came here legally. They put in the time, they put in the price. Michael and I take care of them. There is not a day that we sit down and have dinner with my parents in their 80s where my mom says, are those people still crossing the border?
That's right.
They are offended by what's happening on the border. My mom would always say, if they don't follow laws to get to this country, they won't follow the laws when they finally live in this country. Do you know we had enough fentanyl cross the border last year that would kill every single American? And they want to talk about the border and they want to talk cartels. No, you know what I want them talking about? It's coming from China, and China knows exactly what they're doing when they send that over. We have to start getting smart on these things. And then the next 10 to 20 years are going to be filled with foreign policy. And you know why? Did you ever think Americans would look to the sky and see a Chinese spy balloon looking back at us? It was a national embarrassment. Now, Myrtle Beach has beautiful beaches, but that's not why that spy balloon was going over. That spy balloon went over South Carolina because we're a military state.
Yes.
But all of this started, and my husband is hiding here behind this sign. Michael Haley is behind this sign. Say hello.
Thank you for your service. Thank you.
He was a combat veteran, or is a combat veteran, served in Afghanistan. I don't know if remember, but he deployed when I was governor. So he left me as a single mom governor, and yes, we're still married. I'm so proud of him. But you know, the thing is, the idea that we left Bagram Air Force Base in the middle of the night without telling our allies who stood shoulder to shoulder with us for decades because we asked them to be there. Think about what that told our friends. More importantly, think about what that told our enemies. It was the green light Putin needed. It was the green light China knew. They'd never have another weak president like this. And then you're going paying them off thinking it's going to make a difference? And then forget the energy sector. Now we're getting dirty oil from Venezuela and going hat in hand to Saudi Arabia. So yes, life is tough right now. But this is what I'm going to tell you. Exactly what I told you when I was governor. No more whining. No more complaining. Yes, it's bad. But it's wasted energy to whine and complain. Now it's time to do something about it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about solutions. We're going to talk about how to fix it. When it comes to the economy, Biden wants to raise taxes. No, that's not what you do. That's the lazy way out. What you do is they claw back the $500 billion in COVID money that hasn't been spent yet. You don't send IRS agents to go after middle America. You send people to go after the $100 billion in COVID fraud that we know existed, and you get that money back. You do what we did in South Carolina and you balance a budget. Y'all do it at home. There's no reason Congress shouldn't balance a budget. I will veto any spending bill that doesn't take us back to pre-COVID numbers. That's a guarantee. We will stop the spending like we did in South Carolina. We will stop the earmarks like we did in South Carolina. And we will make sure that they understand 15% of our budget is interest. Cut up the credit cards. Quit borrowing. Our kids are never going to forgive us for this. So stop the borrowing. And then, yes, I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to deal with entitlement reform. But the way we're going to deal with it is we're not taking it from seniors. We're not taking it to anyone who's been promised anything. My parents are in their 80s. I don't want anybody touching theirs. My kids are in their 20s. Those are the ones we tell the rules have changed. Anyone new coming in the system, that's how you do entitlement reform. You let them know it's not going to be there for you anyway, because Social Security goes bankrupt in 10 years. Medicare goes bankrupt in 5. We have to do something. So we start with those in our 20s. Then we go and we say we're going to change the cost of living to be related to inflation, because then it's more fair. You also go and say we're going to limit the benefits for the wealthy. And then you finally say, look, let's expand Medicare Advantage. Let's create the competition. They're great programs. It will cause healthcare costs to go down. That's how you deal with the budget. That's what we'll do. When it comes to education, we will do across the country what we did in South Carolina, which is pass a bill that said if you can't read by 3rd grade, we're going to hold you back. We're going to do reading remediation, and we're going to get you back on track. We're going to make sure that parents are in charge, and we need to have school choice across this country. We're going to cut out the woke programs that don't need to be applied, and we're going to make sure we put trades back in high schools. Because we're going to start building things in America again. And for all of the universities across America, we're going to give them an ultimatum. You either take Chinese money or you take American money, but you don't get both. We're going to put law and order back on our streets. We're going to make sure that the blue know that we have their backs. We're going to make sure criminals know that we have their number. And we are going to close that border once and for all. And when we close that border, that means we are going to go back to the Remain in Mexico policy. We're going to stop catch and release, but we're going to do what we did in South Carolina and nationwide put a mandatory E-Verify program in place that says no business can hire anyone that's in this country illegally. When you do that, they will stop coming if they know they can't get a job. And then when it comes to dealing with immigration, we don't sit there and say, oh, we're going to allow X number of people over in a year. Stop dealing with numbers. We're going to do it based on merit. We're going to look and say, what do our businesses need? What do we need that we're not getting? And you do it based on talent. That's how we do it. We're going to start being smart in America again. That's how we're going to focus on those things. When it comes to the fentanyl, the Mexican president said that they weren't going to allow us to do anything to their cartels. This is what we tell the Mexican president. Either you do something or we'll do something about it. But something is getting done about the fentanyl. And when it comes to foreign policy, we're going to understand who our enemies are. We're going to hold China to account. Yes. We're going to make sure that they understand they have had their way for too long. The problem is Republicans and Democrats thought for too long that if they were nice to China, China would want to be like us. No. That's narcissistic. China doesn't want to be like us. They want to be communist China. We need to make sure we build a strong military, because a strong military doesn't start wars. A strong military prevents wars. We're going to hold them accountable for stealing intellectual property. We're going to hold them accountable for COVID. We're going to hold them accountable for fentanyl. And we're going to let them know what we expect of them instead of being reactionary back to us. And we will stop giving money to countries that hate America. Now, when we do all of that, there is one thing that we have to focus on more than anything else. This national self-loathing is killing us. The idea that Biden and Kamala are saying that our country is bad or rotten or racist. You elected me the first female minority governor in history. You did that. America's not racist. America's blessed. Yes. And all of our children need to know how blessed we are. They all need to be saying the Pledge of Allegiance every morning before they start school. And so the way we do this is we go and we really focus on what our national purpose is. And we don't do that with faint hearts or watered down compromises. We don't have to change who we are. What we do have to understand is we have to go and show people that it's worth loving America again. And when we do that, our opponents will come to us. That I promise you.
God bless America.
That's right. Every day, all day. This is another hard truth I'm going to tell you. Republicans have lost the last 7 out of 8 popular votes for president. It means we've done something wrong. We have to start focusing on what it means to win again. And the way you win is it's by addition. You go out and you tell people our solutions are the right solutions. We focus on lifting up everybody, not a select few. And we should say it and be proud about it. We should talk about how this is the greatest country on earth.
Woo! Yes.
And the way you do that is you get a new generation. That's a new generation of leadership that's willing to leave the drama and the baggage behind.
Yes.
It's willing to leave the status quo behind. That's willing to tell you the truth. and that's willing to say, yes, we are once and for all going to have term limits in Congress. And we are going to have mental competency tests for anyone over the age of 75. Do want to take a point of personal privilege. Let me take a point of personal privilege because I am in my prime, by the way. As is every woman in this room. Every woman in this room knows what being in their prime is. But when I talk about mental competency tests, I want to say this. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I know Joe Biden said I was being ridiculous. I'm not.
You didn't remember.
Have you seen D.C. lately? Honestly, have you seen it? The reason why I'm saying we have to have mental competency tests is I don't care if you do it for 50 and over. But what I'm saying is these are people deciding our national security.
That's right.
These are people deciding our fiscal stability like we saw today. These are people deciding the future of our kids' education. They need to be at the top of their game. That's what I'm saying. And you can't tell me that Joe Biden is at the top of his game. He's not. Do you remember? I want you to go back for a minute. And I want you to remember what it was like when you were growing up. Do you remember how simple life was?
Yes.
Do you remember how good it was? It was about faith, family, and country.
Yep.
People worked hard, they took care of their families, they went to church, and they loved their neighbors. We can have that again. You deserve better. Your families deserve better. Do you know, they just said that 50% of Americans don't think that their kids will live a better life than them? That's not okay. We can't be okay with that. I'm not okay with that. And so there is only one solution to this. And that is you have to elect a badass Republican woman and send her to the White House. We can do this, but we have to do this again together. So, taking you back, this is the story coming full circle. When I first ran against that longest serving legislator in a primary, people laughed at me. And then I got to work and earned their trust, and they elected me. When I ran for governor, I don't know if you remember, it wasn't easy. I ran against a lieutenant governor, an attorney general, a very popular congressman, and a state senator. And I was Nikki who. No one knew who I was, but y'all took a chance on me. And together we won. And when I went to the United Nations, they said I didn't have the experience. And then I got to work and I took the kick me sign off of our back at the United Nations. If you want to know what it's like to win again, if you're ready to take your country back, if you want to feel that feeling again, then join me in this. I'm doing this because my parents came here 50 years ago when America was strong and thriving and full of opportunities. I want to prove to them they made the right decision. I'm doing this because my husband and all of his military brothers and sisters who sacrificed in their families, I want them to know their sacrifice mattered and their fight mattered. I'm doing this for my kids because my daughter is getting married and I'm seeing how hard it is for her to buy a home. And I see my son who's in college and he's writing papers he doesn't believe in to get an A. That's not the country I want for them. We can do this, but in order to do this, when you leave here, I need you to work for me as hard as you did when I was governor. Go tell 10 people to go to NikkiHaley.com. Pitch in $5, $10, $20 today to get our message out. And let me tell you something. I still stand by. I've never lost a race. I'm not going to start now. So join us, join the movement, and know that our best days are ahead. God bless you. See you soon. Thank you.
I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with, now they looking nervously. And I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet
Cause I don't
mentally.
give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
I can't contain it, I'm coming out with a statement. You really changed, man, all your music and arrangement. You don't know shit, shut your mouth, you can save it. I'm the same dude that got his come up from the basement. 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't change it. Experiments, development, intelligence, and patience. I'll do it all again, cause I never feel complacent. Let's keep the good vibes, positivity's contagious. I'm never looking back, cause I made a life that's passionate. A college graduate suppressing all his talents, yeah. He found a way to go and change, become an advocate. For taking control of your life, go out and battle. And you think you have a dream, then act on it. Get after it, get out your head and fucking capture it. You got one life to master it. Don't give up on your future, we all start losers. We're all late bloomers, gotta
Cause I
struggle
don't
through
give
the
a fuck
sewer.
what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way.